First Chronicles chapter 27. What follows is a list of Israelite family leaders and commanders of units of 1,000 and 100, as well as their officers who served the king in various matters. Each division was assigned to serve for 1 month during the year. Each consisted of 24,000 men. Jeshabim, son of Sabdiel, was in charge of the first division, which was assigned the first month. His division consisted of 24,000 men. He was a descendant of Perez. He was in charge of all the army officers for the first month. Dodai, the Ahohite, was in charge of the division assigned the second month. Mikloth was the next in rank. His division consisted of 24,000 men. The third army commander assigned the third month was Benaiah, son of Jehoiada, the priest. He was the leader of his division, which consisted of 24,000 men. Benaiah was the leader of the 30 warriors and his division. His son was Amizabad. The fourth, assigned the fourth month, was Asahel, brother of Joab. His son Zebadiah succeeded him. His division consisted of 24,000 men. The fifth, assigned the fifth month, was the commander Shamhuth, the Israelite. His division consisted of 24,000 men. The sixth, assigned the sixth month, was Ira, son of Ikesh, the Tekoite. His division consisted of 24,000 men. The seventh, assigned the seventh month, was Helez, the Pelonite, an Ephraimite. His division consisted of 24,000 men. The eighth, assigned the eighth month, was Sibekai, the Hushathite, a Zerahite. His division consisted of 24,000 men. The ninth, assigned the ninth month, was Ebiezer, the Anathothite, a Benjaminite. His division consisted of 24,000 men. The tenth, assigned the 10th month, was Maharai, the Netophathite, a Zarahite. His division consisted of 24,000 men. The 11th, assigned the 11th month, was Benaiah, the Pirathonite, an Ephraimite. His division consisted of 24,000 men. The 12th, assigned the 12th month, was Heldai, the Netophathite, a descendant of Othniel. His division consisted of 24,000 men. The officers of the Israelite tribes, Eleazar, son of Zikri, was the leader of the Reubenites. Shephatiah, son of Machir, led the Simeonites. Hashabiah, son of Kemuel, led the Levites. Zadok led the descendants of Aaron. Elihu, a brother of David, led Judah. Omri, son of Michael, led Issachar. Ishmael, son of Obadiah, led Zebulun. Jeremoth, son of Azriel, led Naphtali. Hoshea, son of Azaziah, led the Ephraimites. Joel, son of Pedaiah, led the half-tribe of Manasseh. Edo, son of Zechariah, led the half-tribe of Manasseh in Gilead. Jesiel, son of Abner, led Benjamin. Azarel, son of Jeroham, led Dan. These were the commanders of the Israelite tribes. David did not count the males 20 years old and under, for the Lord had promised to make Israel as numerous as the stars in the sky. Joab, son of Zeruiah, started to count the men, but did not finish. God was angry with Israel because of this, so the number was not recorded in the scroll called the Annals of King David. Asmaveth, son of Adiel, was in charge of the king's storehouses. Jonathan, son of Uzziah, was in charge of the storehouses in the field, in the cities, in the towns, and in the towers. Ezri, son of Caleb, was in charge of the field workers who farmed the land. Shimei, the Ramathite, was in charge of the vineyards. Zabdi, the Shipmite, was in charge of the wine stored in the vineyards. Bel-Hanan, the Gederite, was in charge of the olive and the sycamore trees in the lowlands. Joash was in charge of the storehouses of olive oil. Shitrai the Sharonite was in charge of the cattle grazing in Sharon. Shaphat, son of Adlai, was in charge of the cattle in the valleys. Obil the Ishmaelite was in charge of the camels. Jedeah the Meronothite was in charge of the donkeys. Jeziz the Hagrite was in charge of the sheep. All these were the officials in charge of King David's property. Jonathan, David's uncle, was a wise advisor and scribe. Jehiel, son of Hakmon, cared for the king's sons. Ahithophel was the king's advisor. Hushai, the Archite, was the king's confidant. Ahithophel was succeeded by Jehoiada, son of Benaiah, and by Abiathar. Joab was the commanding general of the king's army. Chapter 28. David assembled in Jerusalem all the officials of Israel, including the commanders of the tribes, the commanders of the army divisions that served the king, the commanders of units of 1,000 and 100, the officials who were in charge of all the property and livestock of the king and his sons, the eunuchs and the warriors, including the most skilled of them. King David rose to his feet and said, "Listen to me, my brothers and my people. I wanted to build a temple where the ark of the Lord's covenant could be placed as a footstool for our God. I have made the preparations for building it. But God said to me, 'You must not build a temple to honor me, for you are a warrior and have spilt blood. The Lord God of Israel chose me out of my father's entire family to become king over Israel and have a permanent dynasty. Indeed, he chose Judah as leader and my father's family within Judah, and then he picked me from among my father's sons and made me king over all Israel. From all the many sons the Lord has given me, he chose Solomon, my son, to rule on his behalf over Israel. He said to me, Solomon, your son is the one who will build my temple and my courts, for I have chosen him to become my son, and I will become his father. I will establish his kingdom permanently if he remains committed to obeying my commands and regulations, as you are doing this day. So now, in the sight of all Israel, the Lord's assembly, and in the hearing of our God, I say this: carefully observe all the commands of the Lord your God, so that you may possess this good land and may leave it as a permanent inheritance for your children after you. And you, Solomon, my son, obey the God of your father and serve him with a submissive attitude and a willing spirit, for the Lord examines all minds and understands every motive of one's thoughts. If you seek him, he will let you find him, but if you abandon him, he will reject you permanently. Realize now that the Lord has chosen you to build a temple as his sanctuary. Be strong and do it. David gave to his son Solomon the blueprints for the temple porch, its buildings, its treasuries, its upper areas, its inner rooms, and the room for atonement. He gave him the blueprint of all he envisioned for the courts of the Lord's temple, all the surrounding rooms, the storehouses of God's temple, and the storehouses for the holy items. He gave him the regulations for the divisions of priests and Levites, for all the assigned responsibilities within the Lord's temple, and for all the items used in the service of the Lord's temple. He gave him the prescribed weight for all the gold items to be used in various types of service in the Lord's temple, for all the silver items to be used in various types of service, for the gold lampstands and their gold lamps, including the weight of each lampstand and its lamps, for the silver lampstands, including the weight of each lampstand and its lamps, according to the prescribed use of each lampstand, for the gold used in the display tables, including the amount to be used in each table, for the silver to be used in the silver tables, for the pure gold used for the meat forks, bowls, and jars, for the small gold bowls, including the weight of each bowl, for the small silver bowls, including the weight for each bowl, and for the refined gold of the incense altar. He gave him the blueprint for the seat of the gold cherubim that spread their wings and provide shelter for the ark of the Lord's covenant. David said, "All of this I put in writing as the Lord directed me and gave me insight regarding the details of the blueprints." David said to his son Solomon, "Be strong and brave. Do it. Don't be afraid and don't panic. For the Lord God, my God, is with you. He will not leave you or abandon you before all the work for the service of the Lord's temple is finished." Here are the divisions of the priests and Levites who will perform all the service of God's temple. All the willing and skilled men are ready to assist you in all the work and perform their service. The officials and all the people are ready to follow your instructions. We're going to stop here today. Next time we're going to be starting from 1 Chronicles chapter 29. I'll see you then.